Hey guys, how y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new episode of Nanatsu no Taizai, Imashime no Fukkatsu, or you can call it the 7 Deadly Sins, Revival of the Commandments, which is on episode 6. Now, this episode right here was actually well done. Not too bad. Well, not too bad, but it's actually pretty well done. So, if anything else, let's go. Pretty much throughout the very beginning of the episode, possibly for about like 6 to 8 minutes, is Hauser along with like Gil Thunder and Grimmore along with Hendrickson are fighting the Grey Demon. Apparently it used almost the same abilities just like Hendrickson who was in that Grey Demon form, but we had to it that after battling it for a while and going for an opening, Hendrickson delivers a purge on it and defeats it instantaneously. And we have to it that Grimmore explains that how he learned this technique from Zarathustra, which is Gil Thunder's father. And Gil Thunder angrily demands, "Why did you kill my father?" And therefore, this is where Hendrickson explains what happened 10 years ago. And that is chapter 123 adapted. Pretty much like at least 8 minutes at most, I believe, is when the fight with the Grey Demon lasted. It is the fight with the Grey Demon. That's all about chapter 123. I'll let you guys know, anime onlys. Those who are manga readers would actually know what I'm talking about. Aside from that, this is where chapter 24 gets adapted, is the past of Dreyfus and Hendrickson. They decided to look into the spot that the king ordered them to do, and they dove deep, or went down deep into the hole, apparently. And we have to it that they're trying to be concerned about what caused this hole to be created. And what I think Hendrickson believed it was a meteor, but that is not the case, however. It wasn't a meteor. And we have to it that before they could dive in deeper, we have to it that Hendrickson has an incantation orb to like go into the dark and look into things, you know? And we get to know a little backstory about like Hendrickson before he became a knight. Like, he was a person that went to the Druids, Druids village, or whatever the sector that's called, that he was training to become a Druid. And his job as a child was to watch over a body so bad souls would not consume it or get away with it. But eventually, that's when he awakened his acid power, and he was called the Coward or Cursed Child. But Dreyfus, on the other hand, tells Hendrickson that he's not a coward. This is like what's happening 10 years ago, as Hendrickson explains. Eventually, we have to it that Dreyfus wants to become the strongest holy knight someday, so he can protect the kingdom, his children, and become a good father figure to his son. And we have to it that they actually sensed a presence when they asked him if they want to grant them their dreams. And surprisingly enough, it is like they realized that it was a demon, apparently. And we have to it that he says, "Offer me your bodies and I will grant your dreams." And we have to it to go like, not gonna happen. And he tries to take Dreyfus's body by force, but it's not working. Apparently, it's his heart and spell his heart, his unyielding will and soul is not working on him. But apparently, he ends up having to take over Hendrickson's body, and therefore gets ready to fight him. Dreyfus was about to kill him, but the guy warned him, "You could kill me now, but you will only kill this vessel. If you had purge like if only Hendrickson could use purge like Zarathustra or something, you could take me out." And we have to it that Dreyfus agrees to let him take over his body, but in exchange, "You don't kill my friend or do anything stupid, or I will kill you." And therefore, they got out of the hole, and therefore explains that there was nothing there. But the sad thing is like Hendrickson was already under the influence of of this demon that took control of Dreyfus's body. And this person is actually Fraudrin himself. And surprisingly enough, he also explains that that Fraudrin actually fought someone many years ago, and he was defeated by a person named Meliodas, and he is also responsible for killing Meliodas' lover, Liz, etc. And that was just surprising. I'm pretty sure a lot of anime onlys are pretty shocked, etc. And so forth. That is all of chapter 125. Pretty much what adapted in chapter 125 in simple words is the past, what happened 10 years ago. Hendrickson and Dreyfus got mind controlled by Fraudrin, and Fraudrin is still occupying Dreyfus's body. I'm pretty sure all you anime onlys realizes that. And this is where chapter 125 gets adapted, which is the last chapter of this part of the episode. Well, etc. I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Aside from that, we get a little flashback of a story of that Liz tells Meliodas not to cry or something, but Meliodas wakes up, sees Elizabeth, and ends up groping her and asks her hey, how you doing? Where's everyone else? We have to it that Slatter is getting healed up right now, and he's feeling much better. As for Merlin, she is stuck in the stone-like format and cannot be, let's see here, resurrected or saved, apparently. But aside from that, it's not really getting much anywhere. But we have to it that Meliodas reunites with the other group, apparently, and we see Gotha right there saying that he's altered the memories of everyone else altogether before that he delivered the final blow onto you guys. Meliodas was actually concerned about Gotha right now and asked him if he's okay. And Gotha's like, what do you mean? You're not going to go berserk or something? Which is what Meliodas is wondering about. And Gotha explains you don't have to worry about me losing control anymore. It's because I am equipped with this control bracelet. And we have to it that Merlin explained that she actually managed to put it on Gotha before he was trying to make his escape and his guard was down, etc. And we had to it that Merlin is still alive, but she actually transferred her soul into her morning star Aldon or something, which is Merlin's sacred treasure, apparently. And we have to it that Merlin explains even with my powers, I can't do anything to undo the precepts of the 10 Commandments at all. And we have to it that she explains to everyone else that we are already in trouble though, because just Galen's power alone without his magic is really threatening. We couldn't even lay a finger on him, and he is at his weakest, as Merlin explains it. And we have to it that Meliodas says we gotta come up with a strategy, and Slander's how are you gonna do that? Because this guy is beyond our pay grade or beyond our strength to even take him on. You realize that, right? And Elizabeth is well, didn't people in other clans fought together against these kinds of enemies? But Hawk also explains maybe because they were stronger back then, right? And Merlin explains exactly. In other words, we are weak. Back then, when we had ancient war, etc., a child will be forced to learn how to do simple swordplay and learn how to survive. But right now, where we are at, we are filled with peace and prosperity that that child does not know how to pick up a sword. And we have to it that Merlin explains that in order for us to take on the 10 Commandments, we have to get stronger. And Meliodas is now you're making it sound like it's easy. And pretty much Hawk says, hey, a power-up, that sounds really good. Although as situation will call it, Merlin explains all the 7 deadly sins power level. Meliodas is 3,370, Deanne is 3,250, 3,250 if you will. And Gotha's 3,100, Merlin's 4,710, King is 4,190, Bond is 3,220, and that's just the 6 of them. And they say like the power level right there is 21,840. Along with like many others, etc., we may not be able to stand a chance. And of course, Hawk's like, don't forget my 3,000, etc. And pretty much Merlin explains like, however, for the fighting strength for the 10 commandments, Galen's power level is only 26,000. And assuming if the other members are just as power as he is, their power level is like 260,000. And should they recover their magic along with the other demons, it'll be greater than 300,000 and it'll be much worse. So we have to it that Meliodas explains like, well, we gotta find a way how to like increase our power. That's it. And we have to it that Merlin explains that Elizabeth and Arthur, the awakening of their powers is gonna be very critical to this battle. Although Arthur feels very doubtful about this, we have to it that Elizabeth says, I'll do something. I'll see what I can do. No matter what happens, I'll do something what I can do. And Merlin's like, I like your conviction. And we have to it that Meliodas says, no, actually Merlin says, there's another key we cannot forget. It's time for us to find that man. Even Meliodas says, yeah, we have to find the 7 deadly sins, lion's sin of pride, Escanor. Yes. A lot of you anime onlys are trying to wonder like, what's so hype up about Escanor? If you do not get this idea where Merlin and Meliodas says we have to find Escanor, then you won't, then, I don't know. I don't mean to be very insulting, but I'm just saying like that guy is really tight. That's all I can tell you. Those of you guys who are manga readers will know what I'm getting at here. I really hope we get to see him soon. No, possibly soon. Hopefully in the next few weeks. We'll have to find out. So if anything else, we have to it that Meliodas says, okay, let's just get this going right now. And we have to it that Hawk says, wouldn't it be easier if I just raise my power level to 1,000,000, etc.? But we have to it that Meliodas ignores that question and says we have to talk to Diane about this. King shows up right out of nowhere when King literally just shows up right in front of Meliodas out of nowhere when Meliodas and Elizabeth are gonna go to Diane. And we have to it that King says like what's been happening, and Hawk's like, well, after you were gone, etc., there has been some chaos happening ever since the demon clan was shown up. And we have to it that they all go to Diane after what happened, and the moment Diane wakes up, King was trying to say, hey, it's me, do you remember me? And Diane asks him a question, who are you? And they go like, I'm sorry, what are you talking about? I'm thinking in my mind, oh boy, here we go. A lot of you anime onlys, you guys got a lot of surprises and treats to come. Like, I'm not going to deny that. When Merlin and Meliodas says they have to look for Escanor, that's something else. But also, the most important thing you must take picture of this is the backstory, what happened 10 years ago with Hendrickson and Dreyfus. Now all you guys now understand that it wasn't their own will that they wanted to resurrect the demon clan, but it was under the will of Fraudrin, etc. Now you guys understand. But aside from the backstory and the great demon fight with Hendrickson and Hendrickson explaining what happened 10 years ago, etc., Fraudrin was also the one who killed Meliodas' lover Liz, etc. And of course, like just Meliodas and the others planning out their strategy how to defeat the 10 Commandments. Not to mention, they have to find Escanor. And Diane apparently might have had amnesia, because she goes like, "Who are you again?" to King. So yeah, a lot of things going on. Aside from that, the episode adapted chapters 123 to 125. So, like I said in my last video, they are doing the adaptation and pacing very well with 3 chapters per episode. I gotta say, I'm really happy where they're going with this. As long as they keep it up, I'll be pretty satisfied. Looking forward to the next episode. Preview of next episode. It looks like to me we're gonna get into a little like backstory about Diane possibly. That's all I can really tell you. I mean, like to my shock. And I'll explain that possibly next week about that when I start doing my recap on that episode. So until then, I'll see you guys in my next video. So I'm out for Zoro, people. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Choo-choo-doo!